Hello, Mike.
Hello, Nick. How you doing today?
I'm all right. Couldn't lock down Dara. I mean, we could, but we got to wait another 20 minutes. But things have to happen tonight for both of us.
That's true. Dara's job is
Evil.
long, long hours, it sounds like. Not good.
I don't know if it's long, long hours. I think they just fuck with him. I think is really what it is.
It's, it's possible too. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
what time he starts, so it
Yeah.
could be shorter hours just into the more evening times,
Yeah. Anyway,
to be honest.
well, welcome to What You Playin, a show where we just
Hmm.
talk about some video game news for the week and then discuss the games that we're playing and how we feel about them. My name is Nick. This is you're watching He's Bad Games, and Mike T has no outlets. He just comes here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mike T, aka The Rumble.
The Rumble, yes. Mike T Robot, also
Yes.
known as the Rumble. That's just the sound that his
Yes.
bowels makes most of the time.
No, that's a very cool nickname I've given myself.
Uh huh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been going on with you, the Rumble?
Not just work. Mostly
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. I've just been streaming,
Yeah.
which is like
Oh,
working for no money. So we've both been doing the same thing.
that's good.
Yeah. You know.
Well, I get paid though, so
I
not
know you
exactly.
do. You do get paid. That is true. Um,
Yeah.
no housekeeping for you, I assume.
Um, Not really. I have some time off coming up, but it's not close enough for it
Okay.
to be really exciting to talk about.
All right.
So,
The only
what about
thing
you?
new I have on the channel is that Wednesdays are going to be dedicated to retro games now, calling it Way Back Wednesdays. And
Really
today I did 6 hours of Chrono Trigger, and I will do it every Wednesday until we're done with Chrono Trigger.
interesting.
And then I don't know, probably some X-Men. Mega Man X probably after that is probably what I'm going to go for.
X1?
X1. I will start with X1. I've never really played
Yeah.
X3, but I have played X2.
I'm gonna be honest. X3 is not as good as X1 or 2.
Yeah, I believe you.
I like X4 probably better than X3. Have you ever played X4 with the bad anime cutscenes?
No, I have not.
It's not as bad as Mega Man 8 with those cutscenes. But they're pretty memeable. They're pretty weird.
Dr. Wiley, Dr. White, Dr. White, whatever. Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Well, that one's really bad.
Yeah.
Where
I've heard.
like Doctor Light or no, it's not
Oh no, it's
Doctor Light
Mega
in that
Man,
one. It's
Mega Man,
Doctor.
Mega Man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I've seen
it,
like little snippets of it before.
yeah. We'll defeat Doctor Wowie.
Yeah.
Like, dude, no.
Anyway, yeah,
But that was the '90s.
that's the only new thing I have is Wednesdays are dedicated to old school games. They'll probably mostly be Super Nintendo games to tell you the truth, but yeah.
Well, that's awesome. You should play. What's some good Super Nintendo stuff I enjoy? I do like some Donkey Kong Country.
I like Donkey Kong Country 2 probably more than
Really?
yeah, I think that's probably my favorite one.
Actually, that's not controversial. That's pretty much everyone's favorite.
You think so? Yeah.
Um, oh
Well,
yeah, that's the hard. Well, that's the more difficult one. The first one's good, but a little janky in places, and no, people don't like the third one.
I mean, my most
And
favorite
the third
games
one's extremely easy.
on Super Nintendo, my most favorite games are all RPGs. Um, like Breath of Fire 2, Illusion of Gaia, Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 4, that kind of stuff. That was always my big stuff.
Um, ActRaiser, Soul Blazer. No.
ActRaiser for sure. ActRaiser for sure. I've never really played
Mhm.
Soul Blazer. I'd like to play the Illusion of Gaia sequel or the third one, and it goes Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and
Oh,
then to
Terranigma.
Terranigma. That's right, Terranigma. I've actually
Yeah,
never played Terranigma.
it didn't come out in America.
I
I've
know, but I
wanted to play it for a long time, but you'd
there
have
are
to get.
ways. There are ways, Mike. There are ways.
Well, yeah, you'd have to do a ROM or
Yeah,
there's reproduction carts if you really wanted to get crazy.
I have nothing I could play on a reproduction cart. You know, I have no. I don't have a Super Nintendo here, or I guess it was a Super Nintendo in
Mhm.
Europe, right?
Well, yeah, it was Super NES, but you could get, like a clone system or something if you really, really wanted to play it on some hardware, but
Hanging
you have to
out,
get that crazy.
in Twitch streams of people who are like from England and UK and stuff. They always call it
Hmm.
the SNES.
Yeah.
You call it the SNES, right?
Yeah, SNES.
SNES, yeah. All right, anyway, let's get
But
into our first story
mhm,
today because we got things to do. This
that's
one
true.
comes from Bloomberg. And
Oh my God.
yeah, Bloomberg. Nintendo plans upgraded Switch console and major games for 2021. We've been hearing about an
Well,
upgraded Switch for quite a long time.
yeah, for years now. Is
Yeah.
this,
The Switch Pro
they have
is what
some
people always want to say.
real inside knowledge?
I think so. I think it is happening. This is by Takashi. I'm sorry about this, sir. Mochizuki. I think that's how you say it. Okay, Nintendo Corporation plans to debut an plans to just says plans to. It's not rumors of. Nintendo Corporation plans to
Mm,
debut an upgraded model of its Switch console next year, along with a lineup of new games. People familiar with the matter said, seeding 2020's holiday spotlight to rival devices from Sony Core and Microsoft. Um, I mean, I'm sure they won't rival it, technologically speaking, but I guess in a marketing sense they would. The
mhm.
specifications of the new machine have yet to be finalized, though the Kyoto-based company has looked into including more computing power and 4K high-definition graphics. So, I mean, that means there's got to be
Interesting.
a new proc, a new GPU. Um, people briefed on the strategy told Bloomberg. Don't care about that. The release of the upgraded Switch would be coupled with or followed by a slew of games from Nintendo itself and
Maybe that's
related.
why we're not getting any this fall.
That's what I want to talk about. Related outside studios. The people said those games would address a wide range of players, from casual gamers seeking small doses of escapism to more devoted fans putting in marathon gaming sessions. The focus on next year's pipeline explains Nintendo's relatively quiet software release this year so far. And then they go on to talk about some of the stuff that they've released and the Switch Lite. Um, and that's the big chunk of this. So I would ask, like, what does this say for current Switch owners when these new games get released? Is it going to be like how, like PC sliders work for games where you can change the graphic settings like based on if you have a Switch Pro or a Switch vanilla, or is it going to be like
Mm,
new 3DS style where it's like this game only runs on new 3DS or whatever?
well, traditionally Nintendo's done that. You get a Game Boy Color. You can play original Game Boy games on it, but your original Game Boy can't play Game Boy Color games.
Yeah. Uh,
That's been their MO in the past. It did happen with new 3DS. And it happened with the DS as well, right? Didn't the DS get a final iteration that played just a couple specific games that no other 3DS could?
was it the
Or
DSi?
not 3DS. Yeah, the DSi. I'm sorry, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
But it did happen with the 3DS later too.
there was DSi specific games because the DSi had like some kind of
Yeah.
camera on it or something like
Yes.
that
Yeah.
utilized that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and it had some Wi-Fi and more RAM, more something to allow it
Yeah.
to do some things that the other systems couldn't.
So
And then same deal with the new 3DS.
so they're going to back me into a corner, I think, because I think what they're going to say is, guess what? Breath of the Wild 2 is only on
Uh,
Switch Pro or whatever they're going to call it.
they could do it. I
And
would hate it,
they'll
and I
absolutely
would buy it.
they will absolutely get my money to play the next Zelda. I mean, I can't not play the next Zelda. It's kind of like, I'm going to be 90 buying the next Zelda. You know what I mean? It's going to go my whole life.
I mean, this isn't just the next Zelda. This is Breath of the Wild 2.
I know.
This is Breath of the Wild, one of my all-time favorite games.
Yeah.
It's something special, and if they could recapture that same feeling, which I think they definitely could,
Yeah.
Zelda's done it plenty of times in the past. I gotta pay. I'd have to pay. I'd have
Yeah,
to do it.
I would very much, unfortunately, have to pay. So let
Yeah.
me read this one more time with the upgrades. It's more computing power and 4K high definition graphics. So I mean, really, I think that's really
Mm.
all that's probably going to change on this thing, is that they will the screen. I bet you the screen will still be like 720p, because why does it need to be any bigger? Because of pixel density. And then
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
whatever the GPU is in it, and the dock that they use will just upscale,
Mhm.
or we'll just go to maybe it's not upscaling. Maybe 4K will be native, and then it like downscales to 720 when it's in hand.
Probably extra computing power from the dock or something like
Yeah.
that.
Um, but they've been talking about it forever, and I think that this is definitely going to split the player base.
Well, I mean, they haven't yet. They haven't done this yet. This is still, even though it's Bloomberg, this is still a rumor. This has not been confirmed by Nintendo.
It says Nintendo company plans to debut an upgraded model. I mean, it doesn't
But
say.
they plan to. They always plan to do more hardware.
I
I
know.
can tell you right now, they plan on making more hardware. I don't know anything that anyone else doesn't know.
It does say the Kyoto-based company has looked into including more computing power in 4K. It's not like rumors suggest. It's like Nintendo has said this to them.
Yeah, well, I just they don't reveal their sources. They don't have any concrete evidence. They don't have any numbers. So they're reporting that basically something that we're all assuming anyway. This is going to happen.
I mean, it makes more, because we were bitching before this started about
Yeah,
the lack of software coming out. Like, there's literally just Pikmin 3, which is a port,
yeah,
which I think we talked about last
yep,
week. Um,
yeah.
so this would make some more sense why we're not seeing any flagship games getting announced at all, because as you were saying to me, COVID has not really hit Japan like it's hit the rest of the world. They've been like relatively safe and stable. So you would wonder why
Mm.
there hasn't been more information coming out about games that are being produced. And this would be a good explanation. Oh, it's because you don't even own the system that the games they're working on works for.
I the thing is that we've been waiting for Nintendo Direct for a very long time right now,
A real
and we've
direct.
gotten some a real direct. We've gotten some mini directs. We got the partner showcase today, but we want very very much to see what's going on with Nintendo. Like, and they've been very tight-lipped. They're not talking about what they're doing next. So it does seem like maybe they're making a move, but we just don't know.
Um, yeah, I feel like it's not, obviously at the end of the day it's not going to be a bad move, but I feel like there needs to be something that fills in the gap until the end of the year.
And you
Anything.
want your gaps filled.
I do indeed enjoy a filled gap. Um, so for you, is Switch Pro, like, that's a day one purchase, right? I would assume.
I mean, if it's anything like the Switch, I might not be able to find it day one.
Yeah,
But
that's true. I
if
waited in
it's,
line for
it
like
would,
6 or 7 hours.
yeah, it would
Yeah,
depend what the software's like.
yeah. If it's Breath of the
That
Wild too.
software, if it's Breath of the Wild 2, it's day one. If it's, oh, Smash Brothers looks a little bit better, it's not.
Yeah.
It's maybe not even an option
If it's Star
for a
Fox
while.
Racing from Retro.
It'd have to have some damn good Metacritic scores for me to buy a fucking better Switch for Star Fox Racing.
All right, if it's Metroid Prime 4, that's you're pre-ordering everything, right?
I would, but the state of Metroid Prime 4 is depressing right now.
Um, I mean, the state of where it's at in the development cycle is depressing, but nothing about it is depressing to me just because it's in Retro's hands. So, like, I'm not
Well,
really.
that's true. I will buy a new Metroid no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man,
But
he's blowing his nose without hitting the mute button. What a monster!
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
All
There's a
right.
mute button.
I don't know. There's a mute button in Discord, and your mic may have a physical one. I'm not
Oh,
sure. Yes, you see that big
oh yeah,
microphone
I see it
button?
here.
Yeah, you can just click that.
Yeah, I do see that here.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a crazy feature, isn't it? The mute button. Anyway,
Yeah,
this is
I
definitely
remember it from my VCR.
like Nintendo always iterates on their hardware. We know what's happening. Is it going to split the player base? I think that's probably going to be the question. And I would say
Yeah, yeah,
I'm leaning towards 60%. Yes, it will split the player base. Yeah.
yeah. Nintendo's done it plenty of times in the past. They know they can get away with it. They know it's a good way to sell more hardware. They've been selling quite a bit of hardware, so I feel like they haven't felt like they needed to do it yet. Plus, they just came out with the Switch Lite not that long ago.
Yeah. Well, the Switch Lite is for
So
your grubby child and his disgusting hands. That's really what that's for. You know.
yeah, but you can't just be throwing out so many different new hardware at the same time. You gotta let something come out, get its moment in the spotlight, and the
It's been
next thing comes out.
it's been over a year for DS Lite, hasn't it?
I don't know.
I
I
want to
think
say
it
it
came
was
out
April 2019, something
like
like that.
no, I wasn't it the fall?
It
I
was
don't know. I don't
released
have one.
September 20th, yeah, 2019. So it hasn't even been a year yet.
Yeah, okay, so I did think it was the fall, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I just said, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, you're right.
all right. So we'll see what comes. You want to talk about
Hmm.
this DC stuff? I think you're more of a DC guy than I am. A little bit more.
I growing up I was always a Marvel guy, but no, actually growing up I was both.
Yeah.
I was never I never really played favorites
Yeah.
that much. But then, when it comes to movies, DC is not up there with Marvel's quality, but when it comes to comics and characters, I think DC is like just as good as Marvel.
Okay. I think I would disagree,
You
but
got really
Aquaman, like,
you,
who else do they have? Who do they really have beyond like Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman that like anyone gives a fuck about?
well, like Flash, Green Lantern, Arrow.
I mean, some people give a shit about the Flash, but like, I don't know. I'm probably pissing.
I mean, yeah, you only have so many top tier characters. Batman's top tier,
Yeah,
Superman, yes. Spider-Man, yes. The
but not
X-Men,
like how
yes.
many like top tier Marvel characters can you name?
The movies skewed things weird. Like Captain America, Iron Man never used to be top tier characters.
I know,
Movies changed that,
but
but
like growing up,
it
just
was
just just the X-Men alone, like multiple characters from there are like top tier.
no. You got Wolverine's top tier, dude.
I think
Cyclops is not top tier.
Jean Grey, I think, is top tier. Professor X is top tier. Magneto is top tier.
Magneto, yes. Jean Grey, I don't think so.
I don't know. I think she's awesome. Anyway, go ahead.
Well,
Go on this one.
she's awesome. Anyway, long story short, this is a bunch of new DC stuff just came out. There was this DC fan event this past weekend. A bunch of movie trailers came out, but some video game trailers came out too.
The Fan
Um,
Dome, it was called.
yes. So two new games were announced. This is actually from the Washington Post.
Yeah, WAPO.
Where are you getting? Yeah, you're getting these articles, huh?
Yeah, I'm just trying to not dip into IGN and GameStop. I'm GameSpot for every single one.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough. So this is from Gene Park, and it says basically when Arkham Asylum dropped 11 years ago, it exceeded expectations of what a superhero game, let alone a Batman game, could be, which is definitely true. That
yeah,
was monumental. At the time, we were still getting like movie license games,
yeah,
uh, cartoon license games. When it
yeah,
came to superheroes, you'd get, Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game was
yeah.
like very good when it premiered, and it was
That's like that's a
going back. It's not
PS2 game, right? I think that one.
PS2.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's what we had then. You had like Mostly movie tie-in games. Hey, here's this bad Hulk movie. Here's a bad Hulk video game.
Did you ever play the Wolverine tie-in game for PS3? That was just called Wolverine.
No, but that's supposed to be very easy trophies.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's one of the easiest games I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, no, I've never played it though. It's supposed to be super easy platinum, which a
Yeah.
lot of people play it just for that. I never did. Growing up as a kid, you'd get like these superhero game tie-ins on like
Yeah.
Super Nintendo and NES and stuff, and they were always terrible.
Oh yeah, super bad.
Except X-Men the arcade is doesn't count because that was great.
That game was fun, and I would say like the Marvel versus Capcom games were a lot of fun.
Yeah, but those are fighting games.
Yeah,
I
I know.
call that a little different. But that's when superhero stuff started to really get into like some better video games, and then Arkham Asylum definitely changed things and opened the door for stuff like the Spider-Man game on PS4. So
Yeah.
Rocksteady, the studio that makes them, they're a very talented studio in my opinion, and they've shown a trailer for their newest game here. So Rockstar Studios and WB Games Montreal are each releasing games branching out from the
Rocksteady,
Arkham
not Rockstar.
Asylum design. Yes, what did I say?
You said Rocksteady.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Rocksteady Studios, just like the Ninja Turtles villain.
Yeah.
So they both of these are going to try to live up to the Arkham legacy. So one of them is going to be Gotham Knights, which is going to. Did you watch the trailer for this?
I did. It looks amazing. That was I watched that and the gameplay trailer, the 9-minute gameplay. That one's from
Yeah.
That's from WB Games Montreal. That one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is like something happens to Batman. They're implying that he might be dead. I highly doubt he's really dead.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so you got your four big. I don't know if I'd call them sidekicks, really. Kind of
Batman
spin-off characters.
Yeah, Batman equivalents. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
None
Robin's a
of them can
sidekick, and Robin's one of them. But you got Nightwing, who's a Batman equivalent, I would say. Red Hood, who's super cool, also kind of anti-hero Batman, and Batgirl.
Red Hood, is he like? I don't really know much. Is he like the Punisher mixed with Batman, basically?
Sort of. So, do you know about Jason Todd, the second Robin?
He gets killed by. Does he get killed by Joker?
The Joker.
Is that's the one that gets killed by Joker? Yeah.
Yes, except in the comics, nobody stays dead. So, long story short, well, it's still going to be long, but Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia al Ghul, like takes his body and uses the Lazarus pit that keeps Ra's al Ghul alive, and resurrects him. And the whole thing about that is it can bring you back to life, but it also makes you evil, messes with your personality too, kind of thing.
It's like a monkey's paw of a Lazarus pit.
Yeah, well, every Lazarus pit has its issues, but this one has that.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, he came back. He was, they trained him to be, go after Batman kind of thing, and he does, but then they kind of become friendly as well. You know how comics are. Like, he's murdering people one issue, they're friends another issue.
Sure.
There's a really good DC animated movie called Under the Red Hood, which tells his like origin and story, and it's adapted from the comic. And I would really recommend watching it if you're interested in Red Hood.
Okay. So the deal with this
game,
only
about an hour.
The deal with this game though is that Batman is out of the picture, and these four are called basically, I guess, to defend Gotham. And it's a single player or two player co-op game.
And which is amazing.
Yeah, and it looks like a little bombastic though. It doesn't look as, I mean, not that it's grounded, but it doesn't look as grounded as like the Arkham Asylum series does. It's a little bit more blue laser in the sky, as Red Letter Media would say.
Yeah, well, you got Batgirl, who's a lot more colorful, and even Robin and stuff. I mean, those were a little bit more dark and gritty games from a more dark and gritty time.
It looks very action focused, where like Arkham is more like split between stealth and action, right? Um, and it looks like the
Hmm.
enemies have like you have the players have levels and the enemies have levels. So there may be like some light games as a service elements in here. It looks
Hmm.
like.
Yes, but it's going to have that classic Arkham Asylum combat that we know and love, you know?
Yeah, I got a actually a confession. I have not beaten any of the Arkham games.
Really? Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I've been thinking about them. I've been thinking about them for the channel.
Have you played them at all?
I have played. I remember beating the Scarecrow fight in Arkham Asylum, and that's the last thing I remember
Okay.
doing in Arkham Asylum.
Okay, that's like near the end.
Is it? Are you sure?
I mean, I played it probably like 10 years
I
ago
think he.
now.
I thought he
It's
was
it's
like
been a long
I feel
time.
like he was like the first boss, from what I
I don't
remember.
know. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
It's that one's a shorter. I mean, Arkham City, I think, is the best one.
yeah. And then Arkham Knight is supposed to be not that good, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the PS4 one. So that one, well, I mean, that's the next gen one because it came out on other stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the Batmobile one. Do you remember that?
What do you mean by the Batmobile
So,
one?
well, like, there's no Batmobile in Arkham Asylum or Arkham City. You know, you're on foot, you're
Yeah,
shooting around, you're gliding. Now, this one's like, hey, the villain's the Arkham Knight, right? The
yeah.
Arkham Knight's got some tanks coming to get you. Get in the Batmobile and fight them.
Okay.
Okay. Now get out and do some stuff. Up, more tanks. Get back in the Batmobile. Hey,
Really?
guess what? Also, some more tanks. Get back in the Batmobile.
Okay.
Riddler spent $1 billion on fucking a highway jump system. Get in the Batmobile and jump this friggin' gorge. Like, there you go.
Okay. So
Like, that's a lot of it.
it's a little
So,
it's a little far fetched, I guess you're saying.
no, it's heavy on the get in the fucking Batmobile and drive
Yeah.
around and do shit. But you're Batman. You want to be punching people in the face.
Yeah.
Like it's heavy on the car.
And throwing
Chicks dig the
batarangs at them
car.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
this does look promising. I watched the. Did you watch the 9 minute gameplay trailer
Yes, I did. I was very pleased with the gameplay I saw.
where they're fighting Doctor Freeze? I mean, Mister Freeze. Sorry,
Yeah,
Mister Freeze.
yeah.
Um, I noticed
Well, he
some.
might be a doctor.
I don't know if he might be. Yeah, he's a Mister Doctor. I don't. I remember. It might have been. I watched the live stream of it, and I noticed like some hitching. I don't know if that was in the trailer as well. If you just watch the trailer by itself, but I noticed
Hmm.
like some big frame rate drops. I don't know if that's like indicative of how. I mean, it's still like
Eh,
it's pre alpha, so. But I did
yeah.
remember thinking like, oh, it's like slowing down. Like, what's going on here? Um.
I just attributed that to it being an early build.
Okay. Okay.
Like, and the combat and Batman does slow down and stuff. They do like some slow mo zoom ins when you dodge and some
This
other
wasn't
things
that.
too.
This
So
wasn't that because I remember they were just like looking. It was like Batgirl and Red Hood just like looking over the city a little bit, and like they were turning the camera like like regular on sticks on the camera, on the controller,
mhm.
and I just remember it like chugging. I was like, why is it chugging? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, whatever.
But that's not the only game they announced.
Yeah. Go ahead. I actually didn't look at this at all.
Okay, so this is just a trailer. There was no gameplay, and this is actually from Rocksteady. So this is Suicide Squad kill. Excuse me,
Jesus.
Kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
So spoilers because they show them fighting Superman in it.
Yeah.
So it's Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, and Boomerang are the 4 playable characters. We don't really know exactly what it's going to be. It says there's going to be some. There's been comparisons made to Sunset Overdrive.
Okay.
Uh, did you ever play that? That's something I wanted to play, but it was Xbox One only.
I do not have access to it, or I did not have access to it until you know what I'm going to say,
Until
Mike.
what?
Until
Until what? Until what?
until I got Xbox Game Pass. I might check it out. I was looking. It is up there.
It's Insomnia.
Insomniac.
It's supposed to be. Oh yes, Insomniac Games.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be really good. I was interested when it was coming out, and then I was like, oh well, I can't really play it. But there's actually a rumor that it's coming to
Everything.
to Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that because they own Insomniac Games now, so
Oh
they
yeah,
could
yeah, yeah. That's right.
potentially
That's right. That's right.
board it over.
After
But
the successful Marvel Spider-Man or whatever it was called. It was called Marvel Spider-Man, right?
I think it was called Mr. Spider-Man's Adventure.
Yeah, you're right. Mr. Spider-Man's Adventure, a Webby Tale. That was right. Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
No, yeah, that's right. That was the
what
tagline
else
in
about
Europe.
this Suicide Squad game here?
They didn't show much. It's just a short trailer that kind of shows them hanging out, and then they're kind of talking about, where's our target, and then the target shows up, and it's Superman, and he's looking all mad with his glowing red eyes, like
Yeah,
he's Homelander,
possessed. Okay.
and that's really it. There wasn't much going on there. There's a lot going on with Suicide Squad now, anyway, with the movie coming out
The James Gunn
eventually
film.
someday. Yes, the potentially good one,
Yeah.
even though the first one did win an Academy Award.
What? I'm sorry. What was it for?
Suicide Squad won a Academy Award for makeup, I think,
Okay.
but it's a Academy Award winning film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've
Technically,
seen it.
I have seen it. I remember thinking I wanted to die while I was watching it.
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I
it's really bad.
I sometimes, like, even late at night, somehow I start thinking about it and it just makes me angry. Like,
To this day,
why? Yeah, to this there's so many things that I'm just like, why? Why did I have to see that? Why did that have to happen?
I don't know, man. Because some guy in a suit needed a third mansion. That's why.
Well, it could have been good though.
And
That's
you
the
helped him.
problem.
You helped him get that mansion. You gave it to him.
Yeah, I gave it to him, all right.
Yeah. So I've heard this.
Anyway.
They're talking about this being a game. This legit being a games as a service game.
Yes, but we don't know much yet.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really. I just watched the trailer while you were talking. It doesn't really tickle me all that much. But where did you go? You seem to have disappeared. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I Suicide Squad doesn't really do it for me. I mean, if it gets good ratings or whatever, I'll take a look at it. I'm definitely way more interested in the Gotham Knights stuff for sure. That looks like way more up my alley. But at least they didn't show garbage. They showed stuff people wanted. People have been waiting for a long time to see what Montreal and Rocksteady are doing. So, this I assume this stuff would have came out during E3, but everybody's got their own thing now. So,
Yeah. Well,
do you think it's gonna stay like this, or do you think that like when things aren't fucked, that like E3 will be back, or will everyone still just have their own little showcases? Like once they realize how much money they saved and how, like if it's money saved versus exposure gained, what do you think?
E3 was dying before this, dude.
Yeah, I know they weren't doing awesome.
No, this put the nail in the coffin. I think. Remember way back before Corona, there was still an E3, and what Nintendo wasn't going to be there, Sony wasn't going to be there.
Yeah, you're right. Only
I can't remember if Microsoft had pulled out too.
I forgot that Sony pulled before all hell broke loose, because I remember that Sony pulled from what was the other thing that they pulled from? They pulled from Gamescom or something like that. No,
Gamescom too, yeah.
was it Gamescom? Yeah, but
well, Gamescom was right when the excuse me, when the pandemic hit.
Yeah. Wait, isn't Gamescom coming up right now? Is this the rescheduled Gamescom? What is happening this week? There's a big event this week.
I think so. Yeah, yes, but isn't it digital now?
Yeah, it's called.
It was supposed to be.
Digital.
It was supposed to be in March, and it got canceled. March or April.
Yeah.
It was right when everything went down.
Yeah.
That got canceled, but Sony had already pulled out before then.
In chat,
pulled out of E3.
In chat, JP3 Games is saying E3 is dead. Only fan conventions will survive, and we know that PAX is always like stuffed.
PAX is a good way for indies to show off stuff too.
Yeah.
No, PAX will be fine. all these gaming cons that are run by fans will be fine
Yeah.
because they're about merch, they're about people just getting together.
Yeah.
E3 was about showing off new games, and like it makes what Nintendo does makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
You have something pre-recorded, you
Hmm.
can't have your controller fuck up during it
Yeah.
and like it glitch out,
Well,
which has happened plenty of times on E3.
Nintendo had definitely had like an enough is enough moment with like their shit just not working on stage. When like
Yeah,
I remember like the like a Wiimote or something just wasn't even. Oh, it was Miyamoto showing off Skyward
yeah.
Sword, and it was just
Skyward Sword, yeah.
all fucked up. And I feel like
Yes.
that was the last year they were ever on stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of embarrassing E3 moments in the Wii era. The
Yeah.
Wii music is
Oh my god.
extremely famous for how cringy and weird it is.
That was a cursed. That was absolutely cursed moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense to record something. You could show it to people. What do you think? Should we edit it? And you
Yeah.
get some opinions before you show it to the public.
Yeah.
And then your message is very controlled, which Nintendo's all about that
Oh,
control.
they're like Disney Nazis with that stuff for sure.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
love.
but that's smart.
Oh yeah, of course it's smart. They love their tight ecosystem, their tight messaging. They're all about
Yeah.
restriction and happy plumbers stomping on Goombas. All
That's
right,
true.
let's do our last story here. Fall Guys. There's actually two stories in one kind of. Oops, did I not? One of them I don't have here. These are both Fall Guys stories.
Oh no.
I'll do the one from yesterday first here. Fall Guys plans a lot of new. You have not played Fall Guys yet, right? Correct.
I've seen and heard quite a bit about Fall Guys, but I
Fall
haven't
Guys
played
is
any.
spectacular. If you're not initiated, I don't know how you could be. 60-person free-for-all battle royale, 5 mini games, platforming style challenges with some team games thrown in. Only one person can get the crown. Adorable little jelly bean people that dress up in all kinds of ridiculous outfits. Fall Guys has plans for a lot of new content. The studio behind the hit Battle Royale says the goal is to make the game feel new every time you play, and they actually already have added like a new game within the first few weeks. Mediatonic's whimsical Battle Royale game is one of 2020's breakout successes. It sold millions of copies and has inspired some of the biggest brands on earth to get involved in the discussion. Lots of different companies are like, yo, can you put like our shit into Fall Guys? Like KFC sent them like a message where they like their media team like made a jelly bean version of the Colonel.
Yeah.
A quote
I
from the
saw that
team:
on social media.
"Our highest estimates have been absolutely obliterated by the actual response. You can't plan those things. You can't predict it. Sometimes it's just right place, right time." I think this game would have hit no matter what time it was. Like, I don't think that COVID has anything to do with it or anything like that. I think it would have been a hit no matter what. It's just really fun. It's a really good concept.
It's resonating with people, so people love to say something new is a trend, but this
Yeah.
is gaming. Gaming tastes change rapidly.
Oh yeah, super fast. It's one of the fastest changing like mediums that there is, I feel like. Walsh said
Oh, absolutely.
the concept for Fall Guys always felt like a good idea, but the studio did not imagine just how much of a success it would be. As soon as you start thinking about your game being a success, you feel like you're going to jinx it. Game shows are built on variety. So the game it's based on a game show, of course, like game shows, like
Yeah.
like Wipeout. Game shows are built on variety and they're built on novelty so far. So novelty. So for Fall Guys to achieve its goal of being the greatest game show ever made, we needed to create a sort of variety and sort of novelty. Developers currently playtesting new ideas as well as new interesting ways to play, including cross-play and a squad mode. I have been talking about this for a couple of weeks playing the game. I'm like, they need to have like squad modes where it's just all team-based games and best team wins, whatever. The studio is also tinkering with special playlists with weird combinations of rounds. Mediatonic wants to get Fall Guys to a place where every time you play, there is something new that you haven't seen before. It's a lofty goal, and it's going to take a while to get there, but I think that's the biggest focus for the team right now. And then, so that's pretty basic. And then this is bananas to me. Fall Guys becomes the most downloaded PlayStation Plus game of all time. So that beats when like the Nathan Drake collection was out there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fucking crazy to me. Battle Royale game has been...
It's impressive.
Yeah. Making a splash on Sony's PS4. Fall Guys snatched the crown as the most downloaded game ever on PS Plus. Sony said on Wednesday, the cutesy chaotic battle, etc., etc. What's the number? There was a number. It was
I don't
like
know.
4 million. What I heard earlier was 4 million downloads. Like,
It says sold millions, but doesn't have an exact number.
I had heard 4 million. Apparently, it's not in this article. I must have fucked that up.
Mm.
But uh, it, at the time, right, it had a at the time of this writing, it had a peak of 168,467 concurrent players. But that's just on Sony. Oh wait, I'm sorry. PS4 players this month talk. That was on Steam. 168,000 players just on Steam. And
Okay.
I know that so many more people downloaded it for free on PS Plus.
Yeah. Well, you pay for PS Plus, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I know that Sony reveals the most downloaded. What was the amount? I really want to know the amount. I swear it was 4 million. I cannot find it. Yep, I can't find
Do you
it.
want me to look?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just the game is amazing, and it honestly does deserve all the success it gets. You can be good at it, but it's also like kind of nuts where any RNG can ruin it for you, which is nice because anyone can really win it. And I think that's one of the appeals of it. And there's no like skill-based matchmaking, so like the best player in the world can be put with the worst player in the world, and I like that. I don't really like how in Apex there's like the public games, like the pub pickup games, and then the ranked games, and like there's matchmaking for all of it. Like even if you're just playing a regular public game, there's still like a matchmaking system behind the scenes trying to match you with people that are like your skill level or whatever. And like that's not as fun, I feel like. And I do just like in this game, I don't even know if they could figure out, I'm sure they could figure out a way to like do matchmaking ratings behind the scenes based on wins and, like what round you normally make it to. But I don't know. I just really enjoy it being like a psychotic, chaotic free for all. And I think they deserve all the success that they're getting right now.
I don't think they've released numbers on downloads for Sony because I've looked at like 4 different articles and none of them say the exact amount.
I could have sworn I heard it was 4 million, but.
Well, you might be right. I can't seem to find the number. Sorry.
Yeah. So when are you going to pick it up?
I don't know.
Tomorrow?
You want to buy me a PS Plus?
Well, I guess I would have to download it on PlayStation first. I actually haven't, just because I've just been playing it on PC. Because it's just easier for me to record, And also, I pre-ordered it before I knew about the PlayStation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you want to get it, I will play it with you.
I'd have to get PS Plus before the end of the month, and I don't think I'm going to. But if I did, I'll let you know.
I haven't played a lot. Actually, let me see real quick here. I am up to Fall Guys 43 hours, and I've only got like 10 wins, I want to say. But the other day I did get 3 back-to-back wins, which felt pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. So what you been playing, Mike?
I've been playing Shadow of the Colossus.
Did we talk about this already? We talked about this yesterday in pre-show before we realized we weren't going on.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the Kind of Funny podcast.
Yeah.
And they had this whole episode on their PlayStation shame, like the games that you wouldn't be able to believe they've never beat before. And they were talking so much about Shadow of the Colossus and the PS4 remake that I was like, you know what? I own it. I haven't played it. I have beaten it on both PS2, and I beat it wasn't a remake on PS3. It was just a port. This is an actual remake.
Like a remaster.
Yeah. Well, it had the same controls on PS3. This has
hold on. I've got
some adjusted controls.
Real quick, I've got a message here from the Queen Boo in chat. Fall Guys sells 7 million copies on Steam. While exact numbers haven't been released, PlayStation Network tracking site GameStats suggests that the player count has now surpassed 21 million players as of 5 hours ago. Surpassed 21 million players as of 5 hours ago. Thank you very much, Queen Boo.
That is impressive. Thank you. Um,
Shadow of the Colossus. Go ahead.
oh yeah, so they were talking about it so much, and I was like, you know what? I love Shadow of the Colossus. I've already beaten it a bunch of times. I'm gonna friggin' play it on PS4, and I'm on like the seventh Colossus right now. I think. Let me look at my trophies real fast.
How many are there? 13? Was it 12?
16, and
16.
I'm on number 6 actually.
Okay. Which one's number 6? The bird?
No, I just beat the bird was the one I just did.
I love
This
that
is
one.
it's Tomb of the Giant. I don't remember. It said he was in a cave. I don't remember which one he is.
Okay.
I don't remember. Like after the beginning ones, like I remember like the bull, like the later ones are like the giant ones you got to climb.
Well, the final one
And
is like a 20-story tall giant.
yeah, well, there's a couple that are like humanoid, but they get bigger, and then the
Yeah.
final one is like humongous.
Yeah.
I've always liked Shadow of the Colossus. I'm just a fan of it. I figure, every 5, 6 years, I guess I beat it, and I guess I'm just gonna beat it again.
Yeah, I think I beat it in college with you, right? Or maybe not. No, I
Uh
remember playing that at home. I can remember playing that at my house in the basement at my parents' house. I do
yeah,
remember that.
I don't think we played it together because it was a late PS2 release.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the final ones, wasn't it? Like that was really
Yeah.
designed by Team Eco, or like a Sony
Well,
A
we
Sony owned
mhm.
a second party studio. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like Sony Japan Studio or something. It is.
Aren't they called Team Eco?
No, it's no, yeah, Team Ico.
Oh, Team.
We played a little Ico in college.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that. I actually could not. And I've never tried
I
The
never,
Last Guardian.
I haven't played Last Guardian yet. At some point, I want to do it.
Do you?
Ico, the PS3 release was Ico and Shadow on
Yeah.
one disc, and I beat both of them. I
Okay.
never actually beat Ico on PS2.
Okay.
It was hard.
I imagine you own
Uh,
Last Guardian, right? Seems like something you would own and
I
want to
do.
play. Yeah.
I do own Last Guardian. Before I give up PS4, I'm gonna beat Last Guardian.
Yeah. Okay.
It's one on my list my list of shame at the moment. Like Last Guardian, I still haven't played Metal Gear 5. There's a few games that I need to get to before I move on to the next generation,
Nice.
and I
Anything
will at some point.
Anything else you're playing?
No, I haven't really had time. After I beat this, I'm gonna move into something a little bit like meatier. But this is something like I was just gonna, I started this weekend. I'm gonna finish it by next weekend.
Yeah, of
It's not a
course.
long game.
No.
Mm.
Okay. Nice.
I'm assuming you've been playing a lot of shit.
Yeah, I've been playing some stuff. We talked about a lot last week. I think I've got less to talk about this week. Maybe not. I started Hollow Knight last Thursday.
Hmm.
And that's a very like dour, sad Metroidvania in like this very beautiful world that's populated by bug people. And I it's a little hard to like figure out what the narrative is exactly. I've been told
Yeah.
it's very dense to try to like dissect all of it. I don't know if I will understand it on first pass. But the mechanics are
Hmm.
awesome. The map is super cool. The music's amazing. It's very atmospheric. It's really good. I like it. I'm going to be playing that every
Yeah.
Thursday until I beat it. So yeah, I'm playing that one
Nice.
tomorrow. On Monday, I played the new Battletoads. And
Oh, how was that?
it was amazing until it was terrible. There, it like
Oh,
so it's you know, it's the standard side-scrolling beat 'em up, and then it's like interspliced with other stuff. So there's like the speeder bike levels, which are fun, and then there's like some weird little mini games because it's like the story of the game. Do you want me to spoil any of this for you? Do you care?
I'm way deep into Battletoads lore. I really don't want anything spoiled.
Tell me the truth, though. It's kind of funny.
Uh, does Battletoads have a story?
Well, this one does.
Yeah, you can tell me.
All right. So at the beginning, like they think that they're like famous superheroes and stuff. In the first level, you go and you beat up like old monsters from the 90s or whatever, and then you find out at the end that you've been trapped in an underground bunker in like a holographic world for like 26 years living a fantasy life, and then they have to come out like
Okay.
into like the real world that exists and get like menial jobs because nobody gives a shit about them. So like after the first stage, you're like giving people back massages and like sending emails and shit like that, and then they create like they decide like let's go and kill the dark or defeat the Dark Queen again to become famous, and like it's all going good for a while. They have like the side scroller stages, they have the speeder bike stages, and then they have stuff like a shmup pops up for a little bit, and all these like fun mini games that break up the monotony. But then they have this one chapter that's 3 very basic puzzle platforming stages broken up by 3 shmup stages, one after the other after the other after the other, and you're like, this is so boring. Like this is like padding to the 11th degree. It just sucks. And I was complaining like out loud on the stream. I'm like, when do I get to play Battletoads again? Like I was having so much fun playing Battletoads. And then you do finally get to like the last area with the final bosses, and it's super fun again. The writing is great. The art's really cool. The voice acting is good. They totally fucked up the pacing. It dropped it from like an 8.5 to like a 7 to me.
Okay.
But I mean, I did enjoy most of it. And then I played a really emotionally driven, like sad platformer called Inmost the other day. And like I don't really want to like spoil Inmost because I think everyone should maybe try Inmost. I think it might be like a hidden masterpiece. It's actually from 2019. And Nintendo had announced it on their indie showcase like a week or so ago. And I was like, that looks interesting. And then I looked it up, and it was on Steam for $15. And I was like, I'm going to try that. I picked that up and beat it in like, I want to say it was like 4 hours or something like that. Really depressing and brilliant and like really good mechanics. There's not really much I want to say about Inmost, but like if you've got $15 to spend, or if you are, I guess if you have Apple Arcade, I guess it's on Apple Arcade. It's part of Apple Arcade, so you could just play it there. That game is very good. That game's like a 9.
Okay, I've actually heard about that from I listened to IGN's Nintendo podcast, and they talked about that last week as well.
What did they have to
were
say
really
about
into it?
They were really into it. I read.
Yeah, they mentioned that it was on Apple Arcade, that it was really good on Apple Arcade, and that it's it's a must buy kind of thing.
It's awesome. If you have like, I would say that like if you are very sensitive to like very heavy issues, like it's so hard to not spoil it, but like if you are sensitive to like triggery subject matter, especially surrounding kids, I would say don't play it. But if that doesn't, I'm not gonna say if that doesn't phase you, but if that wouldn't like affect you incredibly negatively, then yeah, totally play that game. It's awesome. And then in my chat, my girlfriend, the Queen Boo, she redeemed 20,000 points to force me to play I Am Bread for a couple hours. I don't know if you know I Am Bread.
Yes, that's a famous easy trophy game.
Is it? Because that game is hard as fuck.
Wait, no, it's I Am Mayo is the trophy game. Actually, no, the I Am Bread is like kind of stupid, isn't it?
I Am Bread is made by like the Surgeon Simulator guys, and you're like a sentient piece of bread trying to get yourself across the room to a heating element so that you can become toast. But it's like super difficult to control and shit, and if you get on the ground, you become more and more inedible, and then it's a game I played years ago, and she picked it because I like it, and also because I hate it at the same time and wanted to troll me. Whatever, that was just a short thing. And then today I did 6 hours of Chrono Trigger, and it's still my favorite game of all time. I really have nothing else to say about Chrono Trigger. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a classic. I could go on and on about it, but
I could do a whole podcast.
We don't need to.
I could do a whole 2-hour podcast about just Chrono Trigger.
Oh, easily. Yeah. One day we should.
And that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
All right. Hopefully next week we'll have Dara. I don't know. This podcast, if people can make the time slot, I kind of would like to have like
Hmm.
a rotating cast of characters just like come in.
Hmm.
Because at this point, I think me and you are like the solids always here. But I would like to bring some other people in. So if you're open to that, I'm into that.
Well, I'm still Dara can make it. We're gonna try to work on like a more regular time and lock it down.
Yeah,
It's just difficult with everyone being in different areas and different work schedules and everything.
yeah, I hear
So
you.
we're working on it, definitely.
All right, I got nothing else. You got anything else?
Ooh, no. Hopefully, I still have to work next week. The week after I have off, and I'm hoping to really get some hardcore gaming in. But
Hardcore. Yeah.
exactly. But with my work schedule now, it's just a few hours here and there I can kind of squeeze in. So
All right.
got more in the future. What about you? Anything to
Nah, nothing.
promote before we go?
Nope,
Oh my
nothing.
god.
I
Okay.
I got to get off this call and make another call.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I will talk to you later.
All right, man. You have a good one.
You too.
Bye bye.